Hi students, today we are going to see the few important points regarding the lymph node histology. Okay, just such an easy question. First you should know that there is a section of the lymph node and we have stained the lymph node, and here you can see that if you see the lymph node, you can see one is called as there are two parts. One is called as the outer cortex and the other was called as inner medulla. So the outer cortex, what are the structures are there, and inner medulla, what are the structures are there. Look at this is a different stain, but you could see something here, this rounded follicle like structures. This is called B cell accumulation, accumulated follicles. These are all called lymphoid follicles, right? So here also you could see one lymphoid follicle. But the difference between these two lymphoid follicles is, look at the center, it is somewhat pale and the periphery is dark. It is called as pale center, is called as germinal center. So as you all know, lymphocytes, we have B lymphocytes as well as T lymphocytes. So for that we need to have some clarification. Where do we have B lymphocytes and where do we have T lymphocytes? Now you should divide the lymph node into, first number one, you should draw, first we'll use this, we'll draw a nice pink color. The pink color we should draw a capsule, right? This is the capsule, and beneath that you will be having a space that is called a subcapsular sinus. So this is a space called subcapsular sinus. So from the capsule, the trabeculae is entering inside. Trabeculae is like a road. It is going inside the lymph node. And here if you see, there is lot of accumulated B lymphocytes. So you should draw like this, is called B lymphocyte, aggregated B lymphocytes. Here you don't have the germinal center, so this is called as primary follicle. And if you see the other one, next picture, you could see that nicely, you could see the lymph node, lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, but in the center somewhat pale, but nothing, so you can see minimal number of lymphocytes here. This is called as germinal center. Germinal center means here only the active lymphocyte proliferation and differentiation is taking place. So if your body is having antigen antibody reaction, definitely this germinal center should be there, because this is here only you will be having the active lymphocytes, and here you will be having the resting B lymphocytes. In this peripheral zone you will be having the resting lymphocytes, resting B lymphocytes. So this is called primary lymphoid follicle and this is called secondary follicle. The important feature of the secondary follicle is germinal center. So one by one we will come. Number one is the capsule. Capsule is a dense connective tissue. Beneath that you will be having the subcapsular sinus. Subcapsular sinus, from here the afferent lymphatic ducts will be coming and the lymph will be entering into the subcapsular sinus. From here it will be entering into the cortex. Here also you will be having cortical sinuses, but it is not visible, and through that, via the trabeculae. Trabeculae, I said it's a road. Blood vessels and nerves are passing through this trabeculae, and the side of the trabeculae you will be having some sinuses called trabecular sinuses. So the lymph will be entering into the trabecular sinuses and then it will be coming down into the medulla. In the medulla you will be having another one sinus called as medullary sinuses. So in the medulla you will be having something called as medullary sinuses. So this will come and enter into the medullary sinuses. From the medullary sinuses, through the efferent ducts, it will be going out and it will be draining either into the thoracic duct on the left side or right lymphatic duct on the right side. This is how it will go. So this is afferent and this is efferent. So in exam you will be writing this: number one, capsule; number two, the subcapsular sinus; number three, the capsule extension goes inside the lymph node as called as trabeculae; number four, here from the subcapsular sinus the lymph will be flowing into the cortical sinuses as well as to the trabecular sinuses. Through that it will be entering into the medullary sinuses. So in the cortex you have to divide it into cortex, and then this area is called paracortex, and this area is called medulla. Medulla you will not be having the follicles. So here only lot of aggregations of the lymphocytes are there. So here in the paracortex, who will be there? The answer is T lymphocytes. So you will be getting the T lymphocytes in the paracortex. And here in the medulla you will be having the medullary sinuses as well as the cells from the cortex will be migrating and they will be forming something called as medullary cords, like that, irregularly arranged medullary cords will be there. Okay, these are called medullary cords. So in the medulla, marks will be given for medullary cords and the medullary sinuses. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 trabeculae and the 4 T lymphocyte paracortex, and number 5 is medulla. In the medulla you will be having medullary cords as well as medullary sinuses. From here the produced lymphocytes will be going out into the thoracic duct or light lymphatic duct. Like that it will be moving on, right? So here we will be seeing that. Ready? So here are the follicles, and here if you see here is the germinal center. You could see the periphery is dark because the resting B lymphocytes are there. Here in the center you will be having the active B lymphocytes, and here also same state. And inside the these are all reticular fibers. Okay, inside the structure of the lymph node is formed by the reticular fibers. This zone is called as mantle zone. This around this thick zone is called as mantle zone, right? That's all about the lymph node. So look at this. This is the lymphocytes. And here it is nicely given. Afferent lymphatics enters into the subcapsular sinus. It goes to the cortical sinus as well as the trabecular sinus, and then it comes near the medullary sinus, and then through that efferent ductus. This is what you have to write it in the exam. That's all about the lymph node.